Yes.
All right, welcome to the show. It's Tiffany Hernandez here with Jan Crystal. She is with Brodie Vlog. Welcome, Jan.
Thank you, Tiffany, for having me. I'm so excited to join the episode.
Yes, so Jan is like amazing. She has a million and one things that she does, like all ADHDers. She's very well diverse. She does a marketing business, which is the Brodie Vlog, and then she has a food and travel blog, and she's actually in Scotland right now, which is really crazy for me to think, like traveling on a plane. Whoa. Can you share a little bit about all the things that you do and we'll hop right in?
Awesome. Yes. So our Brody vlog on YouTube, that is our marketing agency. We also have a wee podcast, but basically we do website optimization, marketing content strategy, lead generation, and also SEO. And also with we're on Instagram as Brodie Blog, and then I have a food travel lifestyle blog, which is on Instagram at Food and Glam Blog. And I'm a content creator as well, which goes hand in hand with marketing. But yeah, I've been in Scotland for quite a while. I love it here. I'm planning on going to other parts of Europe as well this summer. But yeah, we're just kicking it in Scotland.
That's awesome. And with I know we like talk a little bit about ADHD in here, and I know you've said, you've got some things that you deal with as well. With
Mhm.
travel and all things, where there's maybe not so much consistency, because I know like us as ADHDers, we love the novelty of doing different things, but then we also love the consistency. Can you share a little bit about how you kind of manage all of that? Because I feel like that would stress me out.
No, I mean, it's actually really interesting that we had this episode today because before I hopped on, I was trying to book my like next whereabouts, and like so last night I was like a little bit panicky. I was like, oh no, like where am I going to be? Like that type of thing. How is this going to be financed, to be blunt? So and that's the thing with ADHD, like you come up with a process, but you forget about that process that helped you. So I
Hmm.
remembered, I have this kind of ongoing spreadsheet where I kind of jot everything down, which helps me a lot. Because if it's just, of course, in my head, then I'm just going to be panicky and like stressed out.
Right.
So before joining you, I was literally on the spreadsheet going through like where I'm going to be and like how I'm gonna finance it and like just everything. So yeah, that's I mean it is like I do definitely want to like like not settle, but not the right word. I want to become established here. I love Glasgow. That's where I am now. Um, but I'm still in the traveler phase. Like I'm still an American, so it's um, but I feel like I need to milk this for all it's worth. So for now, I'm still in that kind of phase, but definitely eventually, like my soul is craving like just to stay one place. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It, I can relate. I also like to bounce around, but then, I lived in one place my whole entire life until I moved with my husband to another state. And that was like, I'm moving. What am I doing? I can't do this. Like,
yeah,
I need a home base. Like, this is what. So, and there was definitely a time where I had to really work on transitioning because going from Florida to Tennessee, I did not expect the weather to affect me so much, but seasonal depression is a thing, and I didn't know
yeah.
ADHDers
It totally
are
is.
definitely
Yeah.
more prone to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not too familiar with Tennessee weather, to be honest. So do you could just get more overcast days, I would assume, or just
Yeah.
because
Well, we
yeah,
have
obviously Florida is not known for winter.
yeah, so in Florida it's more sunny, right? Like sunny, sunny, sunny. You have hot, hotter, or hottest. And in Tennessee, you actually have seasons where it goes through winter and spring and summer and fall. And it's great, but I was not expecting the weather to affect me and my mood and just how I do things. And so that's where I'm like, I need the consistency of Florida weather. That'd be great. But I like living in the mountains. So I understand how you like living where you're at,
Mm.
but you also want some consistency or like a home base at least.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm from Arizona. That's where I've lived for the past few years in Phoenix. So again, like can kind of bank on it being sunny and hot, of course. But I actually did miss seasons because I'm born in Virginia. So I'm thinking, well, yeah, I mean, Scottish weather is known for being unpredictable, like four
Yeah.
seasons in one day. But I was like, I got this. And then like literally the apartment that I was at in this place called, well, I shouldn't say the name of it, but basically it's kind of an in-between city between Edinburgh and Glasgow, which are the
Okay.
big main cities. So it was a very residential area in like February through March or yeah, through most of March. So still winter. I was definitely getting the seasonal depression, like so I had to so thank God I had friends in Glasgow so I can just hop on over here to have some like social activity because otherwise I would just be in the apartment just
By
it was yeah,
yourself.
it was intense. I was like, how do people this is
Yeah.
something to definitely get used to, so I totally understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, can we dive in a little bit on your Brodie vlog and how you've helped businesses? Because right now I'm focused a lot on content creation and just helping. Because a lot of times, we've got some introvert in us and we don't want to mess up and we've got to have it perfect and all these things. Can you share what you're helping clients with to get them, sharing more content, getting out in front of, crowds and just being visible?
yeah, so I mainly help like small to medium businesses and basically they tell me what their needs are and typically it has to do with sales, of course, with lead generation. But also a lot of them kind of enjoy posting their own content. They like it, but then they're like, well, I don't have the time to do this.
Yeah.
Which in truth, like if you're a content creator just for yourself, your business, that's like almost a full-time job. Like if you really want to post once or twice a day, that type of thing.
Right.
Um, so I kind of so whatever a business's needs are, I focus on that. But in terms of like being an introvert, I'm an introvert for the most part. Um, and like and with ADHD, we have RSD, like rejection
Oh,
sensitivity
yeah.
disorder,
It's a
which
big
is kind
problem.
of ironic because I'm in an industry like with content creating, as a nano influencer, I deal with rejection all the time. Like there are brands who are like, no, we don't want to work with you. Um, so it is kind of ironic that I'm in this industry when I have huge rejection sensitivity. But I just
Me
say
too.
like, yeah, at the end of the day, like, okay, for a business, it is definitely good to plan, have brand consistency, but at the end of the day, just post it. Because if you hesitate too much, if you keep putting it off, then that's exactly what'll happen. The results will just get delayed.
Yeah.
So don't worry about any hate. Don't worry about it not being perfect. Just post it. So
I love that.
that's my
I
motto.
also deal with RSD really bad, and it's taken me a long
Yeah.
time to get over it. I don't think we ever truly get over it. We just learn how to manage it better. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize that that was what I had because I was also a late diagnosis. Like I didn't know, like if I would have known my whole life that I dealt with these things and this was an actual thing, I would have been like, oh, okay, well, it's because of my brain and I can get over it quickly, which is huge. It's like once you know it, knowledge is power. I do agree, I've been sitting on content for a good long year. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get it out. A lot of it has been the time and wanting to have it be consistent. That's been a problem.
Mhm.
Consistency with ADHD is like, forget it. It's got to be scheduled.
Yeah.
It's got to be on my calendar or I will forget. Um, but I will say, like, I just start posting things. I'm like, well, I'm just going to share this and see where it goes. Or, like, well,
Mhm.
I'm going to just put this out there and see how many people, like, even watch it, right? just to get
Mhm.
something out, and doing it messy. Like I'm doing this show, I'm doing my podcast show. I don't really edit much because it's so time consuming. And I'm like,
It is.
uh, until I become or grow more or scale more, it's really not that important. It is, but it isn't, like get the main basics
Mhm.
done, get your thumbnails right, that kind of thing, and use the AI generation to help you with, descriptions and all of that. But like at the end of the day, just post it, whether you think it's good enough or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the tools that we have now, they're so helpful. And then I have a team of VAs who are awesome as well. I know it's a bit of a controversial thing with like, hiring someone not in the US, which I've definitely done before, but yeah, I mean, no matter where you get the help from, I think it's important with somebody with ADHD to get help, whether it's AI, whether it's hiring somebody in your city or, remotely on Upwork or something. Yeah. So yeah, you definitely hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah, getting help has been hard, especially when you're really, really small and you don't have the funding or the
Mhm.
sustainability to get you the help that you need. And so you're like, it's all on me. I have to do everything. And I've definitely been in that boat. For the ones that maybe don't have the funding to get the help or
Mhm.
like to hire you just yet to help them with their business, what would you say, especially for those of us who struggle with consistency, who struggle with like just keeping everything orderly? I know you were saying a spreadsheet, which is awesome. I love that. What are some things that you've done in your own business to really help keep it running?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think with content, what I do, I like apps like Asana or Notion. So what I do is I have a list of content that I want to post per thing. So for my food Instagram or for my business, I have kind of two separate lists. And it's literally just a checklist.
Okay.
And I've heard in the past, oh, that's not so great with ADHD, but honestly, whatever works for you to get stuff done, even if you
Hmm.
have to cycle back to it, like keep that up. So that's what I do. Just check it off. And then with both of those apps, if you do like a bullet point, you can kind of tab it so that you can have like notes within, okay, I want to post about this topic
Topic.
for my travels, whatever, and then da da da. So that has helped so much when it's just when I haven't had the budget to hire someone to help or whatever. So I think that's great for businesses, like a Notion or Asana or any kind of app. Of course, there's AI and I don't know, don't, I don't try to rely on it as much, only when it's like, okay, I'm so tired. I don't want to think of this headline or caption. So then I use it, but that's, of course, that's a personal preference. But well, what I will say with VAs is what I so I find them on Upwork, and it is a bit of a process to vet the right people. But the team that I have now are so awesome. I've been with them for a couple years, and what I do is I have a set budget. So if I have literally like $20 budget to spend, and I need help just getting things scheduled, or even help with like website stuff, like for a client when it's something I don't want to do, or
Yeah.
I'm too busy, then I literally tell my staff, this is the budget. If you really need to go over it, let me know before you do it. But that's also kind of a hack. So it's not like you're having an employee that's like they have to make a certain amount every month. It's hourly with a VA. So that might be helpful for
A good
someone
option.
who's kind of on a tight budget. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some people with Upwork get scammed or different things. So what is kind of
Yeah.
that?
I've been scammed.
Yeah. What is that
Yeah.
vetting process? How do you really, because with ADHDers too, we're very like forgiving and we're very just like trusting right
Yeah.
away. And so that's hard for us to kind of gauge if they're going to be a good fit for one, and two, if they're really being truthful. Cause I know I've had that problem in the past of like, okay, well, then to the point where I'm like, no, I cannot trust anybody, especially not from overseas. and I'm just gonna have to struggle bus this because trust is really hard.
Yeah, I've definitely been scammed. So I would say like, so when you definitely have questions in the job description and make it like, okay, how do you handle constructive criticism? Or how would you handle these situations? And then once you have good candidates, like I narrow it down to two for like a whatever type of field, whether it's content, whether it's SEO, whatever. And then I give them a couple like entry tasks or example tasks for my own business. So God forbid something happens, it's my account, it's not a client's account, because it's like whatever. Um, so yeah, so my suggestion is to start with a project, like a mini project within your own business. So again, if shit hits the fan, sorry, then it's not a client's account that gets, kind of
Messed up.
that the
Okay.
work is done on. But and also, if someone, especially on Upwork, is literally kind of afraid of getting scammed, then do the milestone option where you as the owner have to set that up before the VA gets paid. So that'll help eliminate that. And then once you build the trust, like I trust my team
No,
wholeheartedly. But once you build that trust, then maybe you can do the hourly manual time type of thing. But yeah, those are some kind of hacks. But yeah, being scammed is a part of life, I think, unfortunately. But there are good people, not just Upwork, but like that they're happy to help and things like that. So.
right. No, I get it. So when you're going around and you've got all these things that you're personally doing for your own vlog and your own Instagram and all of that, because I also have my own nonprofit on the side that I run, as well as my consulting and my business. Um, how do you manage all of that? Because I've ended up spending so many extra hours doing what I'm doing on top of the business side. And I know a lot of times, like, we can get burnt out real quick. We think time doesn't take as much. I've got time blindness issues all the time. So I'm like, oh, that's just my problem that I need to
Me
figure
too.
out. But how do you really
Mhm.
like, because I know that there's more of us that struggle with finding the time and or just managing it properly so we don't burn out.
That's a great question. Honestly, it's a weekly thing to manage. And with having kind of a lot of projects, as many ADHDers do, or not just projects, but like income streams or just passion projects, I kind of have a visual of like a clover leaf or shamrock or whatever. So I have that visual in my head all the time so that I'm not stressing myself out thinking, oh, I'm doing too much, yada yada. But it's like basically like my marketing business, Brodie Blog, and then my food and travel, Instagram, TikTok. And then I do also some art on the side, which also brings in revenue. So at least I have a visual. And like if something else does come up that's like, oh, the kind of like shiny new toy, like, oh, I want to do this, then I have to ask myself, is this within the stuff that I already have that I love? And with time, I don't know, I guess just using apps, using the calendar, and being forgiving of myself because I can't get to everything. Yeah, I mean, there definitely, no matter how, like, no matter how much I try, there will be things throughout the week that I just won't be able to get done. I'm like, oh, I really should have gotten it done. But I think as an ADHD, you're cycling back to your list and be like, okay, what have I been putting off because of fear, because of rejection sensitivity, because of budget, and how can I tackle that? I think that's super important because I think like I will kind of default to the stuff that I love doing, which is content. Like, oh, I love it. But then there's the logistic side or like the editing podcast editing side that's more tedious that I definitely push out, but
Yeah.
that's just as important. So I think cycling back is,
Okay.
yeah, probably useful tip.
No, that's great. I'm just laughing about the podcast editing because I absolutely do not like it, but I love making the content for
It's
sure. I'm glad that you
yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
about
yeah,
the clover. That was great. I also like work in threes. I don't know why. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing, but I'm like, oh, my kindred spirit is right here because I always have to have three things going on. I'm like, I'm not complete unless if I have these three things going on in my life. So I get like you, I've got my business, I've got my nonprofit, and then like my family and my homeschool stuff is for my kids is, one of those things. And if it doesn't fit into that,
yeah,
yes, how do I add that in? Like, do I fit it on the stem somewhere? Is it something that's just going to be an acute thing where it's a more of a short time thing? Oh, goodness. I
yeah,
love that
yeah.
because we just get so caught up in all the things we love.
Mhm. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, and honestly, being here in Scotland, because in the history, the Celts came here, so there's a lot of like the Irish
Yes.
influence. And then I learned about the Celts that they thought in threes in the Trinity. So something isn't, so something could be bad or good, or it could be neutral, or it could be whatever. So I think that actually helps just in life. Like, okay, like maybe the situation isn't bad, maybe it's just necessary or whatever. So, yay.
Choking on my tea. No, so I'm Irish, so I'm like, it's definitely just meant to be. But I'm glad you mentioned that because I think we do have to realize that as ADHDers, we're going to want to have a million things. We're passionate about everything, like everything, right? Like I just love learning. I love growing and exploring and expanding and personal development and all of these things. And like, okay, how am I going to fit this all in? Like, there's more to life than what I can do. I think a lot of us also have that fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to miss out on this and I don't want to miss out on that. But we really have to prioritize our time. And I struggle with that so much because I'm like, but I want to take the time for this and I want to take the time for that. But then we only have like a surface level of where we can really deep dive into certain things because there's so many things that we're focusing on. So like you said with the
Mhm.
circling back, um, and keeping that list, that running list, I keep lists all the time. It's still hard to keep up. It's still hard to go back and then we feel bad
It's so
about it and
hard.
then
Yeah.
the guilt and the shame. Do you deal with any of that? Like, how do you deal with that? I guess I would say, because, letting it go and moving on to the next week, it's really hard. Sometimes we beat ourselves up over these things.
Yeah, I think and I think that's a thing with ADHD and women, especially those who are like diagnosed. Just because I think even now, well, just like here in Scotland, because I know a couple teachers, it hasn't changed much. Like ADHD is known as still a boy thing, like a little boy thing, and it is more difficult to diagnose girls. So there's a lot of us like diagnosed women ADHDers. I just forgot my train of thought. So there you go. Yeah, but I remember like I think it's important. And actually, I have a therapist client who I've been with for years as a doing her marketing. She said that she like in her opinion, her professional opinion, everyone should go through therapy in some way, whether that's
Yeah.
journaling or just some kind of self-reflection. So I think, especially as women with ADHD late diagnosed, I think it's important to do the kind of reflective work of where the shame comes from. Because I know for me, it comes from my parents. I love them, but they're from a different era. They're from a different time. You know, they were, and they're kind of still in denial of me having ADHD, just because like no parent wants their kid to not be perfect, right?
Yeah.
But at least I know where that comes from, and I can be like, you know what? And I remember like exactly when I was a kid, my parents were talking to my teacher. I forget what grade, but my teacher was like, "Yeah, she gets distracted a lot." And I remember coming home and then they were like, "Oh, this is the worst thing. Like, how are you not like a straight A student?" Like type of thing, like but like duh. Like of course I'm distracted because I have this condition. So it's like knowing where the shame comes from, knowing that it's generational, knowing that it's not my fault. I didn't pick this, but there are good things with ADHD. And
Hmm.
so it's like knowing the shame is there, like maybe like just knowing it's there and having compassion for it and
Yeah.
just loving yourself regardless and then moving on.
Yeah.
Thank you next.
Accepting it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Accepting it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's been
So,
same kind of similar for me. I didn't get distracted in school, but I definitely had the internal anxiety of like, and I think that was from my OCD where I was like, no, I have to get this done and I have to have it just right and it's gonna be this
mhm.
way. So I had like superseding other multi issues going on top of um but of course, my parents are like, "You were never like this as a kid. Like, what do you mean you have ADHD? What is this all about? Like, why do you have?" I'm like, "No, I was just really good at masking everything, and now I'm not because
Mhm.
I don't have to, and B, I found out like, oh, this is all the problems that I've had my whole life that weren't actually problems. They're a superpower, but I still have to learn how to work with my brain better. And so now I'm more of an
Yeah.
advocate for it, and so I'm speaking out about everything that I didn't know before because goodness gracious, if these parents would just at least say, "Okay, this might be my kid's problem or this might be something that we have in our family, like let's figure out how to work around it. It's not a problem." It's such a superpower to be able to
Yeah.
manage everything.
Yeah. And like we can handle crazy situations better because we're like, okay, like how can I get out of this? Or like yeah, and like we're known for like being more creative, like just thinking through things because we think through things 2, 3 steps ahead of time before neurotypicals.
Yes.
So neurotypical will be like, how did you think of that? Like, and they're like, well, that's just how my brain works.
Yes, which is why it's great to have an ADHD person helping you with your business because a lot of times we will think of things and share things with you that you've never even thought of. Like, oh, look at all these options that you have. Which way do you want to go? Like, oh, okay, you want to do
Hmm.
marketing or this or that. Like, here's all these extra things that you didn't even know existed.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I never kind of bring up ADHD as a selling point for my business to potential
I don't
clients,
either.
but that's such a good point because yeah, but I mean that's a great point because like yeah, we do think several steps ahead. We do see the blind spots of neurotypical led businesses. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
a good point.
Well, and it's even something just for us, right? If we don't use it as a selling point, we need to sell ourselves on it to be like, okay, because
Hmm.
before all of this, every other week, I'm like, I'm gonna quit. I just can't figure it out. Like, this is overwhelming. The rejection sensitivity was hitting me really hard. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. That
Hmm.
always hits. I'm like, I'm not doing it like X, Y, and Z person. And it's taking me 10 times
Hmm.
longer because my brain doesn't comprehend things and this and that. But at the same time, it's like, well, but I have been able to work around all these other things that people don't even think about. And every time I bring up ideas to people, they're like, oh, wow, that's a really good idea. And oh, wow, I never thought of that. Like, that's actually, I need to consider that. It's like, oh, yeah, I do have something to offer and I am, valued and I have some worth and like some things that I'm sharing with these people they've never even considered. And so, yes, there is a place for me in the market
Hmm.
space. And I think as ADHD people, we're like, no, we're second class citizens and we're not.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's perfectly said. Yeah, I mean, hopefully over time there won't be this stigma.
Hmm.
But for now, yeah, it is important that we manage it. Yeah, especially for ourselves.
Yeah, the managing is hard, but so real quick before we go, can you share just like some last minute tips or tricks or advice for marketing or just like doing your travel or like growing your content, that kind of thing, and how, that can maybe encourage some other business owners to get out there.
Yeah, I think like getting inspired and having some sort of mentor, even if the person doesn't know they're your mentor. Like there are a couple influencers or travel influencers that I follow on YouTube. They're also on Instagram, but like I learned about Scotland from these people and I followed them for years and I've been like, oh, I would love to do that, but blah blah blah. But then I'm like, one day I was like, you know what, why not? What am I waiting for type of thing. So even though I haven't reached that level of like the followers and the sponsors that they have, I'm still proud of the work that I've done and I've still made this happen. So I think like having people to look up to, not in like, oh, I'm not like that yet type of thing, but in like, this is what's possible. And like, I'm just so grateful that there are people that I resonate with online or even in person, whatever your business is, um, that I can look up to and I can be, yeah, I can be like, this is what my life could be like. And then in terms of like, I would say like try to if you want to have a similar field or be in a similar field, like find a way to make a business out of your life. I know it sounds kind of weird, but just having passion in what you do, find and if you're not passionate about what you do, find it and then figure out a way to kind of monetize it. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. But it is so much better to do something that you love, that you enjoy doing, that you can hyper focus on and enjoy it and make a living from it versus like because I was in the corporate world.
Me too.
Sorry, the sun is like intense right
That's
now.
okay.
Yeah, I was in the corporate world feeling like I was kind of in jail or something. I know it's kind of a weird reference, but literally I was like, oh my God, like this cannot be it.
Yeah,
So yeah, so just finding and rediscovering your passion and then
I think I
into
think that's
business.
really no, that's great advice. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I was also in corporate and I was bouncing from job to job and I'm like, this is not what I was meant to be doing. I don't know what I am meant to be doing, but this is not it. Um, and so then I came
Yeah.
home and homeschooled my kids and the rest is history. But if they want to connect with you,
Oh,
and yes, I would love for you to share where they can find you, where's the best place, and we'll put everything in the show notes as well. But where would you like for them to connect?
yes. On Instagram, my business is Brodie Blog underscore. On YouTube, Brodie Vlog is the video, yeah, Brodie Vlog. On Instagram for my food and travels, it's Food and Glam Blog. And yeah, that's where you can find me. And I'm Jan Crystal. So
Perfect.
hopefully you can search me and find me accordingly. But yeah,
Oh,
thank you so much for
awesome.
having me on. I love this chat.
Yeah, no, this has been great. I can't wait to see where you're at in Europe. So you'll have to come back on when you're in another country and we'll do this again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so
So,
down. I'm so down.
all right, everyone. See you next time.